In fact, if you really think about this, what did the New Testament writers have to gain by making up a new religion? They were Jews. They had no motive to make up a resurrection story. None. They had every motive to say it wasn't true, not every motive to say it was. In fact, by saying the resurrection was true, what happened to them? They got beaten, tortured, and killed. And before that, they got excommunicated from the synagogue. They're Jews, remember? Hey, we're going to start a new religion. We are? Yeah. What's it going to get us? Well, first we'll get kicked out of the synagogue, and then we'll get beaten, tortured, and killed. Well, sign me up! You know? What a great idea! Why haven't we thought of this earlier? You know, you often hear, people will ask you, they ask me, and it's a good question, are there any non-Christian sources that talk about Jesus and the apostles? Yes, there are. There are 10 ancient non-Christian sources within 150 years of Jesus' life, and when you reference what they say, you get a story congruent with the New Testament. That's in extra biblical testimony. We don't have time to get into it today. It's in the book. But the point is, when people ask that question, what they're assuming is you can't trust the people that wrote the New Testament because they were converted. You can only read what the non-Christian writers have written because they're objective, you know. If you think about that for more than 10 seconds, you'll realize how stupid that is. The question is, why were they converted? Right? Why did Jews suddenly become evangelizing Christians for a resurrected person who claimed to be God? Why would they do this? That doesn't make any sense. And then why would they go and die for a known lie? You say, wait a minute, Frank, you just got done talking about 9/11. You've got some people in the Muslim faith that will die, thankfully a minority, but some of them will die for their beliefs. Does that prove Islam is true? If you're going to say martyrdom proves Christianity, can't you say martyrdom proves Islam? No, why? Because there's a number of major differences between the New Testament martyrs of New Testament times and the Muslim martyrs of today. The one difference for our purposes is this. The Muslim martyrs don't have evidence that Islam is true. They just have faith. But the New Testament martyrs were in a position to know whether Jesus had risen from the dead. They saw Jesus. They touched Jesus. They ate with Jesus. They verified with their own senses that Jesus had risen from the dead. Some people will die for a lie they think is the truth. Nobody will die for a lie they know is a lie. And the New Testament martyrs were in a position to know whether it was a lie or not, and they went to their deaths anyway. You can't get better evidence than that unless you were there yourself. In fact, let me put it this way. The New Testament writers did not create the resurrection. The resurrection created the New Testament writers. There would be no New Testament without the resurrection. In fact, what I'm going to say in a minute here will sound heretical. Pastor Colin, it's not. Okay? Trust me on this. It's not heretical. But we do not believe the resurrection occurred simply because a book tells us it occurred. We do not believe in Christianity because a book says it's true. We believe in Christianity because an event occurred. The resurrection. Do you realize that there were thousands of Christians before a line of the New Testament had ever been written? How? Why? Why were there Christians before there was a New Testament? Why? Because there was an event known as the resurrection. And they were Christians. Paul was a Christian before he had written anything, right? John was a Christian. Peter was a Christian. Matthew was a Christian because of what they had seen, not because a book told them it was true. Thankfully, they wrote the book so we could know. It's not a book. It's a series of documents put together in a book, you understand? So we could know about it too. But the New Testament writers didn't create the resurrection. The resurrection created the New Testament writers. There would be no New Testament without a resurrection. Why would fiercely monotheistic Jews say that a man rose from the dead and claimed to be God and now we're following him? Why would they do that if it didn't happen? They wouldn't.
What did the New Testament writers have to gain by making up a new religion? They didn't have anything to gain. They actually have everything to lose. They lost their families. They lost their friends. They lost their jobs. They lost their status in society because some of them were learned, right? Like Luke, he's a physician, right? These people were some of them had very prestigious positions. St. Paul had a very good position. He's a Pharisee, son of a Pharisee, learned and taught by the best of the best. He has good political power. Why would he forsake all that? For what? For what? What did he gain? They have nothing to gain. They actually have everything to lose. Look at this list. Look at the atrocities that happened to them. They had nothing to gain. They lost their lives. They lost their families. Some of them were married. They lost their wives. They lost a peaceful life. They lost everything. For what? Levi had money. He was a tax collector. What did he gain? He lost everything. Paul lost everything. Peter lost everything. Mark was well learned, and he knew multiple languages. And he was a young man. He had his whole life in front of him. What did he gain by saying all this? He gained nothing. So if this is not true, then they died for an old lie. No one dies for an old lie. They really believed that this is true. They really believed. And they really believed because they saw that this is true. And when they saw that this is true, they thought what? Hey, this is worth dying for. Because it's true. It's okay if I die by being crucified. It's okay if I get stoned. If it's okay if I get tortured and dragged in the street of Alexandria till I deliver up my spirit. Because I have the Lord. And the resurrection really did happen. And just like the Lord, after he died, rose, when I unite with Christ, I will rise with him again. They knew that and they believed it. Therefore, they didn't care for the dying of the flesh.